Hi, PEM artists. I hope you're all doing well today. All right, let's get started on today's lesson. First things first, please turn those artist eyes up on high, artist minds on, and now I'm going to ask you to focus on the first picture at hand. I'm going to show you a few images, and I'm going to have you guess what we're going to be inspired by today. Does anybody have any guesses? If you sit outside, you are correct. We're going to be focusing on landscapes today, okay? Go ahead and say landscapes with me. Landscape. Now, a landscape literally is a picture of the land, and it's focusing in on those details for us. So let's take a look with our artist eyes at this picture right here, okay? Now, in the art room, we talk often about backgrounds, don't we? And as artists, we know tricks on how to create backgrounds and how other artists might create backgrounds as well. So ready for a little pop quiz? When an artist wants to make something look far away, do they draw it really big or do they draw it smaller? If you said they draw it smaller, you are correct. Now let's say something is gigantic, that it's huge, and it looks big in the background. That just means that it's really, really big, right? So when we're looking at this picture, we can see that those clouds are probably really huge, right? Okay, so those clouds are in the background. We can see that horizon line where the land and the sky meet, right? Then we have a tree here and the rolling hills. This area is called the middle ground. Go ahead and say middle ground. And then we've got the foreground in front of us. All right. Now, foreground is what is closest to us, and many times, even if it is actually much, much smaller than what's far away in the distance, it may appear or look bigger because it's closer, right? Everybody give me a, I understand, Mrs. McDonald. You're going to take and apply these tips and tricks today to your collage you're going to make up for me of a landscape. One more time, boys and girls, in your fanciest professor voice, say landscape for me. Very good. All right, right now I'm going to ask for you to grab a few of your materials. I want you, if you have a glue bottle at home, I want you to grab a glue bottle or a glue stick. Either one will work. I want you to go ahead and I want you to grab a scissors. And if you don't have a scissors, don't worry, we've got an alternative. In fact, I probably will challenge all of you to at least try one tearing technique, okay? And then, if you remember, you guys received a packet of construction paper, and I'm going to ask you to grab that, okay? There should be, at this point, because we've done other lessons out of it too, there might be scrap pieces, there might be full pieces, but I want you to grab that. And then I want you to grab something to write with, okay? Whether it's a pencil, a marker, oops, sorry. I held up a marker when I said pencil, but some type of writing utensil. It can be a crayon. It's up to you, boys and girls. But I'm going to have you pause the video right now and go gather those materials right now so that when we start up again, you are set. All right, ready, set, go. Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back for those that paused and for those that just had everything all ready. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, when you're looking at the construction paper, I want you to pick four. I want you to pick four sheets, four different colors, okay? And now it's okay if one of your sheets is torn because you used it for another project as well, but I want you to go ahead and pick four, all right? So 1, 2 colors, 3, and black is going to be my fourth one, okay? Now, one thing I want you to consider is you're going to need to choose if you want it to be daytime or nighttime right now for your picture, okay? And the reason why I say that is the color you choose as your main color, and I'm going to recommend it to be at least a half sheet of paper. You guys got really big sheets of paper, at least a half piece, okay? And that's where your scissors comes in. If you need to cut that in half, you may do so now to have a paper that's like your traditional size paperwork. So that one's torn. Let me get one that isn't this one, okay? Are you able to see that traditional size? Okay, so with that, guess what I've decided that I want my sky to be? Daytime or nighttime? Nighttime in this one, okay? And then my other ones is what I'm going to use to help create foreground, middle ground, background. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek here. I have one that I started, and you can see that I was tearing my land to represent hills, okay? And here's that horizon line where the sky meets the land, right? There's that horizon line, and I was able to create that with different colored pieces of construction paper. And we're going to get down these pieces right now, okay? We're going to get them torn out, and I'm going to walk you through those steps. And then you guys are going to get to add details on top of it along with in your background. We're not doing any gluing yet, boys and girls, okay? So first things first, why don't you go ahead and you grab your first sheet of paper, and you get to decide how big or small, but it's going to be the one that's going to come down here towards the bottom. So actually, when I say you get to choose how big or small, I'm going to recommend that it's a smaller piece of paper, okay? So for example, let's go ahead, let's take your fingers, all four of them close together, and I want you to go ahead and you're going to take and make just a little tear, just like that, okay? We're going to use our 2 pointers right next to each other, or on the back, sorry, there we go. Pointers and thumbs right next to each other. You're going to do little tears. You're going to pull towards yourself with one hand and push away with the other, doing little tears. And you can go crooked. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to go crooked so that you can have a hill look, okay? So look at that. I went ahead, at least on one side, I want you to be able to fit four fingers, okay? All right, so there's my foreground that I just created. Now I need to choose another color. I'm going to go ahead and go for my yellow. This one, when I line it up next to my first piece of paper, that's my foreground, is going to be your middle ground. So it needs to be bigger, okay? It needs to be taller than that first piece of paper, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark the spot. And now maybe this time I kind of want it to go up and down. If you want to, you are welcome to draw a line to represent how you want to tear. Okay, you are more than welcome to do that. If you're like, I just want to go for it, then you can absolutely just go for it. Pointers and thumbs next to each other. If your paper is wide and it's getting tricky, know that you might have imperfections, but it's okay. It is absolutely okay. I recommend small tears at a time. Look at me tear. I'm close to that line, but it's not perfect, and I'm okay with that. We're bringing those finger muscles to the gym today, okay? All right, there we go. You know how you see those lines right there? No big deal. I'm going to flip this over. There's my middle ground. There's my foreground, okay? Now I need to make one more chunk of land for myself, okay? And this time I've got this green that's left, okay? I've got this lime green that's left. What color is yours that you've got left? Nice, nice. Okay, here we go. Again, if you want to, I'm gonna look at how I'm lining it up next to it so I can see how tall this needs to be. Okay, we're going the long way with the paper. I should say long way. We're going horizontally when we're tearing because my picture that I started to do was horizontal. If you made a vertical one, that's okay. You keep going with that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna have a line that goes up like that. You think that's okay? I think that's gonna be just fine. Ready? I'm going for it. Now, because my fingers, look at, I can't reach them together, I'm going to hold this hand steady on this side, and hold that down and tear. Okay? Ooh, cool. Very cool. I don't see any pencil or marker lines on this one, so I can go ahead and leave it just like that. All right. I'm creating foreground, middle ground, background. I'm creating my land, and each color is representing a different hill or chunk of land, right? Now, before we start gluing, I want you to think about on your paper if there is anything that you would like in that sky. If you want there to be clouds, if you want there to be stars. Okay, I want you to think about that if you want it to be windy, think about the power of line. Maybe you want, sorry boys and girls, I see that's a little tricky to see right now. Oh. If you live in the country, maybe your inspiration is coming from your backyard. If you recently went on a drive and you saw a beautiful landscape, maybe it's coming from that for you. Okay, but as you can see, I'm creating that background, and what I can do is I can do the same idea, and I can do it down here too. And do you see how then I can still see? That's not actually showing for you. Sorry, boys and girls. Maybe I'm gonna have to stop and close my window here. We'll see if that helps. Okay. All right. So I've got my sky. I've got my pieces. I've got my glue. We know that glue always goes on the smallest piece of paper. When you begin gluing your land, I want you to start with that biggest piece, okay? That biggest piece. And if you're using your glue bottle, a dot is a lot, and a line is just fine. All right, then we'll go ahead and press that down. And there's another one. Okay, so now let's say you're like, you know what? I want to add some Torrens stars to my sky as well. You might come back with another color here, or not a color, another piece of paper, and add pieces on top just to give it some depth. Okay. And glue those down. Then I want you to think of 3 things that you want to glue down. Now when we were looking at those landscapes, you saw things like rivers, you saw trees. So I want you to go ahead and think about something that you can add to your landscape, whether you're going to go ahead and you're going to add it by drawing it on, whether you're going to go ahead and tear more pieces. That part is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do a little more tearing here. Let's see here. Maybe you're just watching this video all the way through and then you're going to do it. That's fine too. Maybe you're looking out the window and being inspired. Oh, there we go. I like that idea. And then I can add some details on top of this tree with some crayon. Okay, sorry I didn't push that up a little sooner, boys and girls. But anyways, you're going to have the opportunity to add detail, all right? Okay, I'm excited to see how these turn out for you, boys and girls. I'll have a picture of a finished product for you as well. All right, enjoy making your landscapes. We'll see you again next week.